India has become the key hub for iPhone manufacturing worldwide as Apple India finalized one of its largest office lease agreements to date in Bengaluru, valued at 1,000 crore rupees. Apple India has secured nearly 2.7 lakh square feet of space at Embassy Group's Embassy Zenith project on a 10-year lease. Clearly, Apple has planned for long-term India expansion outlasting Donald Trump's next 3 years in the White House. Apple has also started production of all 4 models of its latest iPhone 17 in India across 5 factories, according to a report by Bloomberg. Meanwhile, Foxconn, Apple's key supplier, has already started production at its new factory in Bengaluru. Let's keep in mind that all of this is happening amid Donald Trump's 50% tariff imposition on certain Indian exports, though tech so far has been exempted. Clearly, the markets also understand that Trump tariffs on India, whimsical at best and hypocritical to say the least, won't last long. Despite Trump tariff tantrums, American tech giants are betting big on India's rise as a global manufacturing powerhouse driven by an educated workforce and cheaper labor costs. For instance, India's electronics exports have jumped by a staggering 47% in just the first quarter of this financial year, making it one of the strongest quarters ever for this sector. Coincidentally, one of the major markets for Indian goods is the United States. So despite Trump tariffs, the global market is open to Indian-made and Indian-manufactured tech products and Bharat's rise under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So why is Apple intent on collaborating with India? India's iPhone production increased by 23.9 million units in the first half of 2025, and iPhone exports from India also reached $22.5 billion from $14.7 billion in the same period last year, making the nation one of the fastest growing markets for foreign buyers. In fact, 97% of all iPhones made in India in May this year were exported to America. But about 2 months ago, President Donald Trump had made it clear that he does not want Apple CEO Tim Cook to expand operations in India. Donald Trump claimed, quote, I said, Tim, look, we treated you really good. We put up with all the plants that you built in China for years. Now you got to build in the US. We're not interested in you building in India. India can take care of themselves. We want you to build here. Of course, the president forgot to mention that he too has built multiple Trump towers right here in India to capitalize on India's ever-growing real estate market. So why is Trump trying to stop Apple? However, after Trump's pressure, Apple has also pledged to invest $600 billion to expand manufacturing in the United States, while Tim Cook presented a gold showpiece to Donald Trump. These investments are designed to help Apple sidestep future tariff escalations that might arise from India operations. Apple's latest India expansion showcases its long-term strategy. Donald Trump's tariff war against India is strategic. His administration accuses India of buying Russian oil, which the White House fails to mention is completely legal under international law. However, at the same time, US has sent billions of dollars worth of weapons to keep the war ongoing in Ukraine. Now the United States wants to profit from the same war by selling weapons worth $100 billion to Ukraine, financed by Europe. A neutral India hasn't supplied any weapons to either side and is only making legal energy purchases. In fact, the United States and European Union's combined trade with Russia is far greater than India's energy imports from Moscow. Trump tariffs on a non-aligned nation like India represent a colonial mindset of trying to control global trade. The world knows Trump's accusations on India are like the pot calling the kettle black, which is why American tech giants are still betting big on India despite Trump tactics. Not just Apple, even Elon Musk's Tesla is set to open a massive second showroom in India in the Delhi capital region. In recent weeks, US Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent has gone public, accusing India of profiteering from the Ukraine war by buying cheap Russian crude and reselling it in the global market. Trump has also warned that this could go up to 100% for countries trading with Russia unless a peace deal with Ukraine is brokered by September. Against this turbulent backdrop, Apple's production strategy for India looks particularly savvy, and here's why. For the first time, Apple will produce all 4 models of the latest iPhone 17 in India from the outset. In fact, India is an equal partner with China in the simultaneous rollout of the latest Apple device. Apple's key supplier Foxconn has already started trial production in Tamil Nadu, and full-scale manufacturing is expected to begin later this month, well ahead of the phone's global release slated for September 2025. This marks an industry milestone. Previously, iPhone models assembled in India typically lagged behind China production by weeks or even months. Now, with day one assembly happening in India for the iPhone 17, Apple is showing full confidence in the country's rapidly evolving manufacturing ecosystem. In fact, Apple is also developing a special iPhone 17e version tailored for the Indian market, set to release next year, which signals the company's deeper engagement with local consumers and features beneficial for India. Apple has been steadily shifting more of its supply chains out of China and into India in response to US-China trade tensions and logistical as well as geopolitical risks. By partnering with Tata, the only Indian company currently assembling iPhone 17s, the long-standing suppliers like Foxconn and Pegatron, Apple aims to deliver faster product rollouts and more supply-side flexibility for America and other global markets. Apple's confidence indicates that the India-US business and strategic ties will outlast the turbulence under the current Trump administration. India and US could still finalize an expansive trade deal by the end of this year. However, progress on that front has been slow. According to analysts, Apple's collaboration with Tata Group could see Tata-owned factories contributing up to half of all iPhones made in India within 2 years. Tata Electronics has solidified its role after acquiring Wistron's production plant in Karnataka and acquiring a 60% controlling stake in Pegatron's Chennai facility. Indian government officials and Apple executives see this as just the beginning. According to reports, India contributed 12 to 14% of global iPhone shipments last year, and with these bold new moves, Apple's India-manufactured iPhones could account for 20 to 25% in the global market within a year or two, marking a transformative leap for both Apple and the Indian economy. But what do you believe? Why are American tech giants betting big on India's rise under Modi, despite Trump tariff drama? Leave a comment with your opinion, hit the like button and subscribe to Inconnect News.